It was incredibly painful, and he was acting like it was nothing. I was screaming. I was telling him to stop.
Hey yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Diddy.
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious.
Jay-Z has leaked a tape of his relationship with rapper Shan Puffy Combs, and Usher is reportedly getting ready to testify against Diddy. Usher is the second person to have his name officially brought up in court in connection to Diddy, and it seems like Usher is scared due to being around him. Diddy has been grooming Usher since he was a kid, and he was given legal guardianship of Usher back in the 90s. When Usher was just 13, he had his mother as a manager and handed over Usher to Diddy from there. Usher's career skyrocketed but also did not go as expected. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine in 2004, Usher said that Diddy introduced him to sex when he was just 13 and sent him to Puffy Flavor Camp for a year. This camp was filled with chicks and orgying, and it was curious to see what was happening. Usher lived with Diddy for over a year and experienced things that no 13-year-old should be exposed to. The worst part of the entire ordeal was how Diddy groomed Usher, making Usher believe that he couldn't have a career if Diddy wasn't supporting him. As a result, Usher became dependent on him. Rumors in the industry have been that Diddy even injured Usher once while having sex with him and had to go to the hospital. Multiple industry insiders have confirmed this, but some music executives have heard it from them. Usher was around people who might say, "I don't F with that dude," but he didn't know who the F was at the time. He was trying to get out of the industry and everything like that. Eyewitness reports show that Usher played along with Diddy's freak-off parties where he told everyone that he was going to sleep with Usher. Usher is uncomfortable with this behavior, but he just plays along because that's what he's been doing ever since he was 13. Diddy has anathemized that he will help young stars' careers if they agree to have sex with him, and then keeps them as his pawns. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Usher expressed his fear and uncertainty about being around Diddy and the potential consequences of his actions. He mentioned that he was too young to even be in clubs and that he wanted to testify against Diddy, but he didn't have to do it. In this text, the speaker discusses the alleged sexual misconduct of rapper Ed Sheeran and his brother Sean Combs. They discuss their early morning fights over the Frosted Flakes, which led to a heated argument between them. The incident is one of many that has caused Usher to seek refuge from Diddy. Gene Deal's ex-bodyguard has also mentioned witnessing Usher engaging in sexual acts with Diddy. According to reports, Diddy liked treating Usher like a cuck and had power over him. This pattern has been seen with other victims, as seen in a lawsuit by Ludd, who alleges that Diddy told him personally that he had sexually interacted with Usher. Usher mentions a touchy situation when he got on Shay, and mentioned how good Puff taught him about the business. He also mentions a situation where Puff and Usher had a situation at the Swiss hotel where Usher was sent to the hospital. The tapes have been handed over to the FBI by Courtney Burgess, a close friend of Kim Porter. Burgess claims that these tapes show Diddy in clear sexual contact with minors, who appear to be under the influence of, and at times multiple celebrities are taking advantage of these children. The witness testifies before the grand jury that 8 celebrities were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs. 6 men and 2 women were close to being underage, or potentially underage. 2 males and 2 females. Of those 8 celebrities, many appeared to be intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. The speaker questions the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury, but he answers that all of the celebrities were either inebriated or under the influence of drugs. He also discusses the potential victimization of these celebrities, as well as the potential victimizing of them. In conclusion, the text highlights the ongoing investigation into the alleged sexual misconduct of rapper Ed Sheeran and his brother Sean Combs. The speaker emphasizes the importance of understanding the limitations imposed on him and the potential victims of these crimes. The text also touches on the potential victimization of these celebrities and the potential victimization of the victims. The video highlights the experiences of 8 individuals who were inebriated and in danger, including 2 to 3 potentially minors. These individuals were scared of speaking out against Diddy Combs and Jay-Z while he was out in the streets. However, with Diddy finally behind bars and unable to threaten them, these people have decided to start speaking out. A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of her when she was 13 years old, is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked not to reveal her identity, but wanted to close a chapter of her life. She also has autism and suffered a head injury the night of the 2000s VMAs. She was driven from Rochester, New York to Manhattan by a friend who offered her a ride to an after-party. She spoke to Benji Madden and his brother at the after-party, discussing their religious background and their tattoo. She had a drink that made her feel woozy, and Combs and Carter took turns watching Jay. She was fighting, trying to get away from him when he put his hand over her mouth and told her to stop it. After the alleged incident, she ran to a gas station and called her father, who picked her up and drove her home. Tania Wallace claims she saw children at one of Diddy's parties in 2018. She was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince and ended up on Star Island at one of Diddy's parties. She walked into the house and found a cluster of adults around what she described as little people dressed up as Japanese Barbies. She explained that they were just clustered around them and that they should not be at an adult party. She eventually realized that the children were minors and that there was nothing specific going on at the house. She told a wild story about what was happening at the house even at 7 in the morning, and it seemed to rage all night long. In conclusion, the video highlights the experiences of 8 individuals who were scared of speaking out against Diddy Combs and Jay-Z while he was out in the streets. It emphasizes the importance of advocating for oneself and being a voice for oneself, as well as the power of TMZ to influence others. The text describes a shocking tape of a threesome party attended by rapper Diddy and a male sex worker. The tape details the experiences of the threesome, which Diddy often watched as he had sex with a woman associated with him. This is similar to the stories that have been told about Diddy's relationship with a woman who was associated with him. The man in question received a subpoena and did not testify before the grand jury, but spoke to prosecutors. He left the tape with them recently. A male victim of Diddy's gave an interview on NBC News, claiming that Diddy gave him spiked drinks at a party and then sexually assaulted him while his guards held him down. This man, identified only as John Doe, was hired by a security firm to work at one of Coles's famous white parties in the Hamptons. John Doe claims that Diddy pushed him into a van, held him down, and sexually assaulted him. He claims that he could not escape because he had been watching from a vantage point. The video and Cassie Ventura's suit against Diddy set off an avalanche of allegations against him after the feds executed coast-to-coast raids of his mansions, and later filed federal sex trace charges. Diddy's abuse of Usher for so long was due to Diddy threatening him. He allegedly possesses incriminating tapes featuring various high-profile individuals. No one has come out defending Diddy's celebrity friends, and they are represented by a brand that is all about money. They see what he did to Cassie with the kick punching and what he did to Cassie, knowing that nobody in America likes that. These people are represented by a brand that does not speak on anything that has anything to do with them and are praying that they are not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being alled up in the whole 9 yards. They are praying until the feds say otherwise. In this text, the author discusses the ongoing investigation into the relationship between Sean Connery and Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. The author explains that the FBI has been gathering evidence from various sources, including testimonies from individuals who were involved in the case. The author argues that the FBI is not going to favor the pastor or politician who was caught stealing a cookie out of the cookie jar, as they did not think they were being watched. The author also mentions that the people in the congregation are shaken by the allegations, as they believe that the pastor may have led them to damnation. They believe that people should understand that he is just a man with a history, and that they need to understand that he is just a man with a history. The author also mentions that the author was at a Diddy party, but knew he wasn't doing anything. He explains that when someone is taped or videoed, they are left to their own devices, and they are left to their own devices. The author also mentions that Tony Busby, the author's brother, has promised to name all the people involved with Diddy, reportedly with police reports and medical records to back up their claims. The author anticipates that lawsuits will be filed against the individuals involved, but they will do so with due diligence to avoid hurting people if they are true. They also mention several incidents where individuals were named in lawsuits, which raises questions about the connection between Sean Connery and Diddy. One example is a minor who was told by Sean Connery that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private. The victim was taken into a private room with Mr. Combs, where he performed oral sex on him. Another incident involved a 15-year-old girl who was taken into a private room with Mr. Combs and other people. The next day, the girl woke up with pain and damage to her vagina and anus, missing her underwear and shoes. Another instance involves a 26-year-old woman who was picked up by Mr. Combs and several others in a black SUV and woke up with pain and damage to her vagina and anus. The author concludes that the walls are closing in on Diddy, and the question remains whether justice will be served or how far-reaching the consequences will be.